Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? I thought I would do a little extra video for you this week, and I chose to do it from this Wild Maps book with all of the funky maps. So let's take a look inside. We've seen this once on my channel before. Some of the maps in here are very, very interesting, like this one. So this one is entitled "Where Bears and Wolves Once Ruled in Italy." This is following on from talking about the rise and fall of Europe's forests, where we had 11,000 years ago many, many forests, particularly centered around what I would say is modern-day Ukraine. And then around 6,000 years ago, the deeper colour here represents a thicker forest which really covers much of Germany, Poland, and some of Scandinavia, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. And then the decrease, so today, where we have very few, particularly in the more arid Spain, but also apart from the Carpathia Mountains here in Romania, where there's thick forests still, we only really see them as much in Sweden, Finland, and the Baltics. So of course with forests come forest animals. If you want to see how extensive the ranges of these great carnivores were, just look at how many places were named after them. So relative frequency of brown bear toponyms. Bear in Italian is orso and orsa. The place names on this map are regional variations. So we can see ors, orsetin, urs, orsot, ursu, urse, 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 ors, ursu. And then over here on the island, ultsu, ultsu, ussu. And the same for wolves. So we have lupu, and lu, lov, luv, luf, luf, lovatel, lov, lupu, lepe, lope, lupo, lupe, baboon, and lupu. Good geography lesson. All the world's water would form a sphere just under 1,400 kilometers in diameter, 97% of which would be seawater. And the air we breathe could be contained in a sphere of just 2,000 kilometers in diameter at standard pressure and 15 degrees Celsius. That's crazy when you think about it. There's actually more water than Earth, and you can just fit it in that sphere there. This one's called the Middle of Nowhere. The most distant places from the ocean, also known as the continental poles of inaccessibility. North America, it's the just 10k north of the town of Allen in South Dakota. It's 1,660 kilometers to the nearest sea. Then here in South America, it's 1,515 kilometers to the sea. And this location is 40k north of the town of Arenápolis in Brazil. In Africa, it's 1,800 kilometers to the sea, and that's 50k from Obo in the Central African Republic. Eurasia, 2 8,645 kilometers to the sea, and this is the remote Ju-Sotoin Edison Desert in Xinjiang, China. And lastly, Australia, 920 kilometers to the sea. This is 185k northwest of Alice Springs. Oh, this one's been a question that's been on my mind for a little bit. So this is what Antarctica looks like beneath the ice. So we can see the ice as the darker. I don't know if you're picking it up on camera very easily. So it looks like a much larger continent than it is, but actually they're mostly islands. And then this is the mainland part. So the South Pole is here, which isn't... Is it just on land? So the green is 0 feet above water. So as you can see, there aren't many massive mountains here, but there are mountain ranges here. This can be up to 5,000 feet, and the yellow could be up to 10,000 feet. This one is the nations with no sea view. So the landlocked and double landlocked countries of the world. So Bolivia is a landlocked country, but and Paraguay is as well. So Brazil has obviously access to the sea, Argentina, Chile, but Bolivia doesn't. Peru and Chile stop it, and Paraguay is stopped by Brazil and Argentina. In Europe, Luxembourg is in this group, Andorra, as well as Switzerland, Austria, Czechia, Hungary. This is Romania? No, Romania's got it. No, Romania's there. What am I thinking of? Slovakia. Slovakia's that's Hungary. Let's see, the shape of Hungary is a bit wrong. Then North Macedonia and Serbia. Moldova, and technically, because this is not a sea, so Azerbaijan and Armenia as well. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan is double landlocked, so it's landlocked by countries which are landlocked. That's what a double landlocked is. So Uzbekistan is landlocked through the landlocked countries of Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. Also Mongolia is in this group, Laos, Bhutan, Nepal. And then in Africa, Mali, Niger, Chad, the Central African Republic, South Sudan, Ethiopia only narrowly, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, and the two countries, one of which, Lesotho, completely within the borders of South Africa, and Eswatini just here as well. Done that one before. I have to mention it when you see it. Here be dragons, countries of the world with a dragon on their national flag. So I didn't realise that Malta had one. Malta does. Bhutan, very cool flag, and obviously my country of Wales with the red dragon, y Ddraig Goch, as we say in Welsh, y Ddraig Goch, which are different to Asian dragons, which are often long and thin and live in water, and they're not scary, they don't breathe fire. And then we've got this one here, which is this is St. George's Cross, I think, and this is maybe St. George slaying a dragon. And that's on Malta, which is this tiny country here just south of Italy. So these are the windy stretches that could power the world. So areas with enough wind to drive giant turbines. Unsurprisingly, there are ones on the tip of Alaska, and this is the Tierra del Fuego down here between right at the end of Chile and Argentina. Very rough waters down here. The reason the Panama Canal was built to let people through because it was treacherous going this way. Unsurprisingly, the top of Scotland and Ireland here, very windy and wet, as well as northern Spain, Galicia, and actually surprisingly the south of Spain here, Andalusia, as well as Somalia, Sri Lanka, parts of Tasmania, and the bottom of New Zealand, over here by Sydney, I think, not far from Sydney at least. Lots of areas by Japan, and then we've got ones up here by Russia, Iceland, Greenland, and then many on both the eastern and western seaboard and the sort of Gulf of Mexico of the United States. And then the sunny places that could help power the world. Solar power might provide 25% of our energy needs by 2050, and even more than that in Australia, South Africa and other hot spots, such as India, China, Japan, Australia with 40% possible, South Africa 32%, and the United States with 33%. These are the biggest producers of gem diamonds in carats in 2019. So Russia with 25 million, Canada with 18 million, Congo 2.6, Namibia 2 million, Botswana with 16 million, Angola with 8, Lesotho with 1, and South Africa with 5. I've done that one as well. Out and about. Oh yes, we've definitely done that one. Where cattle, sheep or pigs outnumber people. Now I thought, surely, maybe they're not counting Wales separately to the UK. I think there's like 3.1 million people and 10 million sheep. So New Zealand is definitely in that bracket as well. They have 10 million cattle, 26 million sheep, and just 4.9 million humans. There are only 26 million humans in Australia, but 63 million sheep. In Mongolia there are 30 million sheep and just 3 million humans, 3.2. Turkmenistan has 14 million sheep and only 5.6 million humans. Libya, on the northern tip of Africa here in the Mediterranean, 7.5 million sheep and 7 million humans. Denmark has 5.9 million humans but 13 million pigs. And then in Brazil you have 218 million cattle but 213 million humans. Uruguay has 11 million cattle for 3.4 million humans. And Argentina, where you think of when you think of steak, cattle is 54 million and humans are 46 million. Chad, incidentally, has 17 million humans but 39 million sheep. These are all the places to see a giant panda outside of China. You can find some in Memphis Zoo in the USA, in the Smithsonian's National Geological Zoological Park. Oh, it actually gives their names of Tiantian, Meixiang, and Xiaoqiji. And in Memphis Zoo, you could see Lele and Yaya. In Zoo Atlanta as well, you have Yalun, Xilun, and Yang Yang. You can see them in Mexico, looks like Mexico City, in the Chapultepec Zoo, Xuan Xuan and Xin Xin. In France, in the Zoo Park Beauval, Madrid Zoo, in Spain, the Ouwehan's Dierenpark in Netherlands, Edinburgh Zoo in the UK, Copenhagen Zoo in Denmark, Berlin Zoo, as well as many others, Belgium, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Adelaide Zoo in Australia, and Kobe Oji Zoo and Ueno Zoo in Japan. Tantan lives alone in Kobe, but in Ueno you have Zhe, Xiang Xiang, Xiao Xiao, Lei Lei, and Xin Xin. Wow, that's incredible. So it's apparently possible to walk in a straight line from Liberia all the way to Zhejiang province, just past Wuhan in China, south of Shanghai. And it's 13,500 kilometers. I would take a couple of spare pairs of shoes though. Also, you'd have to walk through the Himalayas, so good luck. How fast are you spinning? As you stand on Earth, your rotational speed depends on how close you are to its axis. In other words, the closer you are to the equator, the faster you're spinning. How weird. So at 0 degrees, i.e. the equator, you're spinning 1,650 kilometers per hour, whereas on the North Pole, you're only spinning 0 kilometers per hour. That's crazy. This one's caught my eye. Not every giraffe looks alike. So you have the West African, which has this Rothschild's, which is here, reticulated there. Masal is there. That's very different actually, isn't it? And the Angolan and South African ones there. You just assume they're all the same, all look the same, wouldn't you? So, where are you most likely to be killed by a venomous animal? And the answer is Africa and India. So 4 to 6, the number of people who die by venomous bite or sting per 100,000 human individuals. I suppose that's, if it's by per 100,000, there are 1.3 billion people living in India, although there are 1.2 in China or whatever it is, so you'd expect China to be the same as a ratio, but no, it's not. So maybe India is dangerous. Somalia is too, by all accounts. I can't imagine very many people dying in the UK from bites or stings. We don't really have. I don't think we've got a single animal that's capable of doing that indigenously. Whereas I thought Australia would be much higher on the list. Everything stings you in Australia. Watch your step. These creatures are the tiniest of their kind. So the pygmy rabbit in western USA, the smallest rabbit comes in at 25 centimeters in length and under 400 grams. So is that an actual to scale? Is that how big they are? Like literally this big? Hummingbird, bee, or bee hummingbird in Cuba, sometimes mistaken for the species it's named after. The world's smallest bird is just 5 centimeters long. Oh yeah, people do think they are a bee when you see them. They're so quick. They just look like a bee. Jaragua lizard in Isla Beata of the Dominican Republic. The world's smallest lizard is 1.6 centimeters. Oh my god, really? this big, from nose to tail. The pygmy marmoset in western Amazon basin, covering a couple of countries. At 12 to 16 centimeters, the world's smallest monkey is shorter even than its tail. In Africa we have the speckled padloper tortoise. Namibia, Western South Africa. The smallest tortoise in the world can be just 6 centimeters in length. Madagascar has 2 Madame Bert's mouse lemur. The smallest primate in the world measures about 9 centimeters, including its tail. It weighs about 30 grams. And the Bruxia nana, northern tip of Madagascar, discovered in 2012. This chameleon is the world's smallest reptile, with the male as small as 1.35 centimeters in length. The bumblebee bat in Thailand and Myanmar, the world's smallest mammal, is, as its name suggests, bee-sized and weighs less than 2 grams. And then in Pakistan and Afghanistan, you have the Baluchistan pygmy jerboa. The smallest rodent in the world is just 8 centimeters from nose to tail and weighs less than 4 grams. Okay, we'll stop there, but that was fun. I love this book. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then click like for me, please. That would be super helpful for all those YouTube algorithm thingamajigs. And leave a comment, tell me any other facts you've heard of. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will point you in the direction of the previous video I did with this book. It'll appear just here in a second. Don't forget to join me on Patreon and help me buy cool books like this. And the info for that is in the box below. Take care, everyone. Hope this was relaxing and fun to watch,